Yells!
Hey, what's going on, guys? Josh here for Classic Elite, and this is the video review for Postal 3. Wow! Alright, now, you can tell this is already going to be a very, that kind of review. Now, first off, let me thank some of our sponsors real quick. I have this beauty right here. This is the Hapag Colossus HD capture card. I use this to record great gameplay footage for reviews, and that is both on console and on my gaming PC. If you want to record great gameplay footage in HD and not take a hit in performance, you want to use one of these babies right here. Also, I want to thank DoghouseSystems.com. These guys provide us with fantastic gaming rigs that we use at Classic Elite. If you're not gaming on a doghouse, then what are you doing? It's time to level up. Go to DoghouseSystems.com today and use the checkout code CELITE. Get yourself $25 in Jinx Gold with your purchase. DoghouseSystems.com. These are PC gamers who make fantastic PC gaming rigs. Check them out today. Also, I want to thank Gamersgate.com. They're a fantastic digital distribution service that is client-free, and they provide Classic Elite with tons and tons of great PC games. Now, guys, like I said, client-free. Nothing bogging down your system. And the biggest library of PC games around. I mean, literally, you're going to find something for anyone there. Great website, great support. Check them out today, Gamersgate.com. Now, if you can't tell, I'm probably stalling a bit here. I don't want to talk about Postal 3. I really don't. I didn't want to play Postal 3. I don't want to talk about Postal 3, but here I am. We got a review copy, and I'm going to give you my honest opinion on the game. Completely honest. But first, let me drink some Pepto-Bismol or something to settle my stomach after playing the game for several hours. Oh, wow. It hurts, and not in a good way. Where do I begin? I'm not even sure where to start. Now, if you're not familiar with the Postal series, it is an unapologetic, totally offensive, crude, rude, humor-based game that involves all sorts of mindless violence and obscene acts. That is Postal. That is where it made its name, and that is where it's trying to make a name again in Postal 3. Now, it's been several years since the second Postal game, and this is the third game in now what is a trilogy. And, well, has it improved? No. No, it has not improved. It's a bad game, guys. It's honestly a bad game. I'm telling you right out of the gate, and I'm going to try to explain why it's a bad game throughout the review here. Now, where do I start here? The first two games already set the tone for those. Third game follows in suit. The game started off very linear, and since they moved up to the third game, they try to take on a very open sandbox element. And, you know, whatever. Yeah, I don't dig it. The game is a third-person action game. I mean, that's what it boils down to. They try to be open-ended in a lot of ways, but it ultimately fails. Now, you play as the Postal Dude. That is what you're known as. You're the Postal Dude. Some events happen in the game. The first town, the setting for the first two games, is gone. Blown off the map, and it's your fault.
Totally not my fault. I mean, whoever it was might not have even known it was a nuke they were arming. Probably.
And Paradise was totally destroyed. Tragic. They still haven't found who caused that.
Really? That's awesomely horrible. What a shame.
You're just honestly not a good person at all. You go to this new town, and you want to leave, you want to keep staying on the road, but you need a tank of gas. And what does a tank of gas take? Money. So you start doing odd jobs, and things kind of roll out from there. And that's Postal 3. That's kind of what happens. The story's weak. I mean, I haven't finished the story. I'm not going to finish the game. I didn't like it. But ultimately, I can tell it's going nowhere. There is a moral system in the game, the morality system, where you can be a good guy or a bad guy, which is confusing. I'm not sure why that's in the game at all. The Postal games, you're known for doing all sorts of horrible acts, and you're not a good person. Even when you're trying to be a good person, you're still, you're terrible. So why is it there? I don't know. It's just fluff. It's thrown in there for the sake of being in there. That's fine. Whatever. So I already said story sucks. Main character's not likable in any way, shape, or form. Let's talk about the visuals. The game looks bad. I mean, it's dated and it's a budget title. Totally get that. Whatever. Doesn't bother me. I'm not a big graphics person. I mean, I appreciate graphics. I love when a game is beautiful to look at. But if a game has no art style, if it has, bland visuals and like no personality behind the artwork itself, it's not fun to be in that world. I mean, I don't want to be in a world where everyone looks the same. Literally, there are clones everywhere. I could understand if I'm running into people who have the same face, the same model on their face. I could understand if I'm running into people that are constantly wearing the same clothes. But I run into the exact same character model. Face, body shape, size, clothes, you name it. It's just junk. It's lazy game design. I'm sorry. It's bad. Excuse me. That on top of the bad visuals is just... And the gameplay. Let's go on to the gameplay. Let's talk about that. Actually, first, let's go back into the game world. The game world, level design is bad. There, I said it. It doesn't make sense. It's confusing. It's hard to find your way around. It's just not fun to play in that world. Now, that combines with the level design. The level design goes hand in hand with the bad gameplay. I mean, they match. One's bad, the other's bad. Gameplay is bland. It's not fun. Mission design is just, totally unoriginal. You're constantly, kill so many of this enemy, collect so many of these, go talk to that person, or, protect this person or this area for so long. I don't care. It's dumb. It's been done to death, and there's nothing interesting about it. It is not enjoyable. It is just... all it is, it's setting up one dumb joke and another dumb fart joke and, a wiener joke, and you name it. It just goes on from there. It's a means to tell another bad joke and have another terrible segment. Which I have no problem with potty humor. I mean, I like American Pie. I thought Shadows of the Damned was fantastic. But those games and that movie, they do it well. There's a certain execution. There are certain credentials and, how do I say it? They don't have the chops. I mean, running with scissors, you guys are trying really hard, I can totally tell. But you just don't have the prowess to pull it off. Your writing isn't really great, and obviously, your game design mechanics, coding, whatever, just aren't up to snuff. And I'm saying that flat out because the game crashes constantly. I probably put, 4 or 5 hours into the game at most, and most of that was spent crashing to desktop and reloading the game. My Steam profile probably says I played the game for 3 or 4 hours. Oh, let's be honest. My Steam profile says I have played it for, let's see here. What is that, 2 hours? And I spent double that in the game, but most of my time was spent crashing and watching loading screens trying to get back in the game. Unacceptable. That and the fact the game is marred with all sorts of technical glitches. I am throwing grenades at enemies, and the grenades are falling through the environment, totally being ineffective and wasting my ammunition. I am following the on-screen prompts to pour gasoline on enemies and try to light them on fire, but I had to do that for like 20 minutes to get it to work. I mean, what am I doing wrong here? I'm listening to the game. I am following the instructions on the screen. It just doesn't work. That in combination with the fact that the enemy AI, the intelligence of, the NPCs is god-awful. It is terrible, alright? I can understand if this was, a Super Nintendo. Maybe it's acceptable. I'd be blown away at the visuals if it was a Super Nintendo game. This enemy AI would be unacceptable even on a PlayStation game. Even back in the 32-bit era, 15 years ago, it would be unacceptable then, and it's unacceptable now. It is just bad. I'm sorry. I just have to give it that. I mean, enemies constantly run at you without, there's no reason to take advantage of the game's cover system because enemies just kind of run at you constantly. You're firing at them, they run out of ammunition, they don't run away, they just stay there, they take a beating. Brainless. That, with the bad visuals, with the bad level design, it all sucks. One little redeeming thing I can say, the game does a lot. It tries to be very original with a lot of the weapons. Granted, they're all obscene and horrible weapons. You have a rabid badger on a harness that you can use to attack people. You have a vacuum cleaner that you can use to suck up objects and shoot them at enemies. The first object that you use in the game are sticky tissues. Now, why are they sticky? Think about it. Gross, right? You suck those up, you shoot them at enemies. Whatever. It's creative, totally tasteless, but it is creative and original. You got beehives that you can throw at enemies. You have disease-infected felines you can throw at enemies. Great. Original. The bummer is that you have all these creative weapons, and they're just ludicrous and, over the top, bloody and gory and nasty. You have no reason to use them, because the game gives you shotguns and pistols and machetes and clubs and you name it, all the standard modern warfare-esque weapons, and they're totally, 100% more effective at killing enemies than any of the weapons that are totally fun and original to the game. So why even have the other stuff in there if it's not effective? Why would you ever want to use it if you're going to constantly fail the mission trying to have, fun or show off this weapon to a buddy of yours who wants to see this insane game that has, all the potty humor? Whatever. It's dumb. Why take the time to develop these creative weapons and mechanics if they're totally ineffective in the game? It's just a waste, It's bad. That in combination with the music and the performances, the sound effects, it's all bad. I understand the game was made on a budget. Totally get that, which can allow me to forgive, the visuals. I can totally get that, they don't have all the equipment to get the perfect audio or the best performances.
How about I just let you keep that fine piece of hardware and we call it even? Deal?
Can I have free porn instead?
They can't hire the best writers. They don't have the best programmers. Whatever. I don't care. They're on a budget. They're on timeline. I can understand all of that. The fact that the game crashes to desktop like every 15, 20 minutes, that is unacceptable. I don't care if this game was $60, $20, or $1. I work in IT. If I released a product like that, I would be fired. It's totally unacceptable. And that is the ultimate reason that I have to say that I can't recommend this game. I can understand if you're a fan of the series. I can understand if you really get into all that, gross, rude, obscene, offensive humor. This game is full of it. Now, it's not written particularly well. It's not executed very well. But when the game is marred with technical issues that practically make it unplayable, or at least a slog to get through when you're constantly crashing to desktop and going through load screens and, having to reload saves because something doesn't work. You can't play the game. It's broken from that point on. Who cares if the story's good or the gameplay's good? It just doesn't work. It's totally unenjoyable and it's unacceptable. I'm sorry. So guys, I think this has to be the most negative review we've ever given at Classic Lead, and I hate to do that. I don't want to bash on a developer who I can tell is trying really hard, and they're trying to, do something that no one else is doing. I applaud you for covering subject matter that no one else would cover, but if you can't execute it, if you don't have the technical prowess or the writing ability, then don't do it. But on top of that, don't release a game that doesn't run. I'm sorry. Anyway, guys, that was the review for Postal 3. Trust me, if you want to buy it, pick it up. But if you want to pick the game up, that's up to you. That's fine. Support a developer who is trying something different. But just don't expect to enjoy it or have a good time or possibly even get the game to run. So, anyway, guys, my name's Josh. People call me the Gooch. I'm going to settle my stomach with some more Pepto-Bismol. You guys have a good evening, and don't buy Postal 3. Just don't.
don't do drugs.
Too much green health herb.
Or meth. Just kidding, kids.